Tonight, Nancy Pelosi making it plain with a big power play and telling Trump, this is my house. The new speaker basically put Donald Trump on notice. He will have to, she says, reschedule the entire televised State of the Union in the House because of the shutdown. This is, she says, because of security, but everyone gets the larger message.
We've never really had a State of the Union when government has been in a shutdown since the Budget Act in the 70s. This requires hundreds of people working on the logistics and the security of it. Most of those people are either furloughed or victims of the shutdown, the president's shutdown. You can make it from the Oval Office if he wants.
Nancy Pelosi mixing basically concern for workers, which many people say is legitimate, her career reflects it, with, yes, a little bit of shade. He can make it from the Oval Office. Meanwhile, the Post reporting Trump has flashes of, quote, frustration over this. His inability to get Democrats to buckle has caught up with him. And now his own economists doubling projections of how much damage the Trump shutdown, he promised to take ownership for it, would cause the economy, warning we might be headed towards a, quote, contraction. Day 26 of this shutdown. This pain, though, is very real beyond the political gamesmanship and the back and forth. Think about how federal workers and their families are feeling across the country.
We need to pay our bills now, so we need to get back to work and start getting paid again.
I feel a pressure I've never felt before in my life.
I will be able to weather the storm, but I know a lot of people that won't be able to weather the storm.
If people could just, take the 5 minutes to reach out and call their congressman, call their senator, let them know to end this shutdown today.
Definitely financial hardships. I was only able to get 2 paychecks before this happened.
We got mortgages, we have rent to pay, and we got children to feed. So please, Mr. President, open up the government.
This is real. Another furloughed worker telling MSNBC's Katie Tur about the effect on her children.
Both boys are on the spectrum, and my little guy has multiple disabilities. We're not having any expensive therapies for the moment because we simply can't afford them and keep food on the table. My youngest son has more seizures with more stress, and he's starting to show signs of more stress. We can only shelter them so much when we're struggling day to day to figure out how to cover the next upcoming bill.
One story among many. Let's bring back Michael Steele, and we're joined by Daniela Gibbs-Ledger from the Center for American Progress and a former Obama administration official. Good to see you both. Let me start like this, Danielle. Speaker Pelosi is taking a serious problem, which has been discussed in many ways over these weeks, and turning it into a very clear message to the president. You don't get your televised address if you don't do your homework.
Exactly. He has one job, and that is to run this country. I know he doesn't like being president. He likes the trappings, but clearly he doesn't like doing the day-to-day work. All he has to do is open the government, and they can have a conversation about his wall. They can have a conversation about a whole myriad of things. But he has to do his job. People are hurting. And Nancy Pelosi, she is compassionate. As you said, her career shows that she cares about people, but she is very smart politically. And she knows that the onus is on him to rectify this situation. There was a bill that was passed unanimously, bipartisanship in the Senate. So he just has to say, okay, I will sign this. It's up to him what he wants to have happen here.
And it seems like, unlike, say, what we were just discussing on a very different topic in the top of the show, here the facts are mattering because the public is far more against Trump on this than on other Trumpian issues. And some of what they've said, Kevin Hassett may have one of the worst statements defending the shutdown we've heard, and that's saying something out of this crew. But take a listen to Kevin Hassett defending it for Trump.
So then they have the vacation, but they don't have to use their vacation days. And then they come back, and then they get their back pay. Then they're, in some sense, they're better off.
In some sense, they're better off.
So let's be clear, Kevin. When people go on vacation, they usually don't file for unemployment. And that's what's happening. You have a significant number of Americans more and more filing for unemployment because they need something to come into their household. And a typical unemployment check, right, is a percentage of your normal check for the month. So they'll take a percentage of, out of the 2 pay periods, you'll get 1 pay period and a percentage of that. That's it for the month. So it's not like you're getting 2 checks.
You're a Republican. Do you think it's working the way Pelosi is flexing?
In terms of the pressure that it's putting?
In terms of today, making it about you don't get your State of the Union.
Yeah, no, she absolutely. I mean, he's met his match. I mean, he doesn't know what to do with this woman. He has no idea.
He does not.
He has no idea what to do with Nancy Pelosi. That's why he's sitting in the White House frustrated because she's not biting on the kernels of crazy he's putting out there.
Now, I'm being told from my control room, sometimes we have a lot of breaking news. Right now, we actually have a breaking guest who we didn't know whether we were going to get or not tonight. So both of you hang with me, but I'm told that Congressman Hakeem Jeffries has walked out of a late scheduled meeting with Speaker Pelosi. He, of course, is part of leadership in the House Democratic Caucus. I didn't know if we were going to get you depending on your schedule tonight. Thank you for joining. I understand you just came out of the meeting with the Speaker. So what is the latest?
Well, the latest is our perspective remains clear. We need to reopen the government, and thereafter we can have a mature conversation about border security, a mature conversation about our broken immigration system, a mature conversation about comprehensive immigration reform, and doing it in a bipartisan way. But we're not going to allow the American people and 800,000 public employees to be held hostage by Donald Trump because he's decided to throw a presidential temper tantrum and try to extract $5+ billion for his medieval border wall.
And Congressman, we just heard on our show from some people who think Pelosi's got the right attitude here, going hard against the president, using the State of the Union as a new pressure point tonight. As you know, there are some Democrats in your caucus who've said that it would appear to be somewhat a breach of protocol, is the way some put it, to quote unquote disinvite him. Did that come up in the meeting you were just at? Do you think she's got the right call there?
I think she has the full support of the caucus. I presided over the meeting this morning when she made the announcement that she was going to take this step. And Ari, as you understand, based on any legitimate reading of the letter, she expressed concern for the security of everyone. The Secret Service right now is not being paid. Perhaps the largest potentially significant event that Secret Service presides over is the State of the Union, where you have 435 members of Congress, 100 senators, ambassadors, cabinet secretaries, and of course the President of the United States of America and the Vice President. It makes no sense in the midst of a government shutdown to proceed.
Congressman, we've heard from the administration trying to say that this isn't, quote unquote, that bad, that some workers may be better off. Of course, the impact's far wider than workers. I want to read to you from reporting today on thousands of lower income Americans who do get these federal assistance program payments, and nothing that they've done has changed. It's only the shutdown that's changed. A property manager telling tenants, quote, until the government opens again, you're responsible for all of your rental amount, meaning that some are effectively facing pressure or potential eviction. Do you view that as the fault of just Donald Trump, or of Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell if the Senate won't even vote on the things that your House is now passing?
Well, Donald Trump certainly shoulders a lot of the blame, but Mitch McConnell has been missing in action. He's in the witness protection program, and we need to figure out when he will emerge so we can actually proceed, not as a wholly owned subsidiary of the Trump administration, which is how he's been conducting himself, but as a separate and co-equal branch of government. We've been sending him appropriation bill after appropriation bill that the Senate themselves, in a bipartisan way, led by Republicans, have passed over the last several months. We can't understand.
In your analogy, then, is he's a subsidiary corporation, or he's a witness in protection, or which is he?
There's a lot of things that are going on over in the Senate, none of which have been good for the American people.
Final question, sir. Will Donald Trump, in the end, in your view, give a State of the Union from the floor of the House?
Well, let's hope that over the next few days we can reopen the government, and in that context, we look forward to hearing what he has to say to the American people on the floor of the House of Representatives. But if he continues down this reckless path, he will not be giving a State of the Union on January 29th from the floor of the House of Representatives.
Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, coming out of busy meetings, working late, while I know some aren't working. So I want to thank you, as well as my guests, Michael Steele and Daniela Gibbs-Ledger. Thanks to each of you. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.